throughout your overall client experience. So beyond some of those things that we normally think about, like your logo or your colors or your website, how you really live your brand authentically throughout every part of that process. And Abbie is an expert at this, so I'm going to let her teach us the ropes. And as always, give us a like or a comment on what you think of this video. Give Abbie a follow. All of our links will be listed below in the description, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on future conversations and tips for creative business owners. So without further ado, Abbie, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, hi. So I am Abbie, and I am owner of Paragraph Branding. I started it in 2018, and I am a brand strategist, identity designer, website designer. So I work primarily with women entrepreneurs, and oftentimes I call my clients like intuitive business owners, like people that are very sort of like in touch with themselves and want to like live who they are and their personality, like live it through their brand. So I help them like become more in tune with who that is and weave more of who they are into their work.
I love that. So the first thing you do when you're working with a client to develop a brand from scratch, like they have no existing business, they come to you, what's the first thing you do?
Yeah, so it's really important to me to, like I said, like it's all about figuring out who you are and bringing that into your business. So it's really important for me, and the very first step is just like get to know my client. So I spend a lot of time talking to them. I give them a lot of homework and worksheets and all the things. And it's just really so that I can get to know them and so that they can kind of get to know themselves a little bit deeper. And then I like jump into so much research. Like I research them and their background and their industry and all of the things. And like those, I do so much research before I even actually design.
Yeah, I'm sure you have so much intel on all these different industries.
Gosh. I'm like, I always joke that I'm like the best at cocktail parties. Like I can talk to everyone about everything because I know a little bit about all these different industries.
Out there.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah, so then some of these questions that you ask them, like the homework, if I'm asking myself, if I'm not quite ready to hire you yet, I know, like the way I started my business was I was like, I need a logo, and I made one. And I was like, now I need a website, and I made one. So what are some of these like questions that people can ask themselves to help them tap into that deeper part?
Yeah, totally. So like, I don't think necessarily, I mean, I'm a branding designer, so this is going to be like totally crazy that I'm saying this. Like you don't always necessarily have to have a logo.
Okay.
So like there are plenty of people that are really successful on Instagram and Pinterest and Etsy and all these places where it's not so much that they have a logo with their name and like a pretty font, but it's more of that they're like living this consistent brand all the way throughout. So the biggest tips that I have for people to like get to know more of who they are and like figure out how to weave that into their brand is to really sort of look internally. I always have all my clients do the Enneagram, like find their Enneagram personality. Which also helps me like relate to them better.
What are you?
So I'm a 3.
Okay, and I'm a 4, which is like the dramatic, crazy one.
Yeah,
so.
and mine is like all about getting to know other people, which is like, perfect. It's pretty funny. It's like pretty spot on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I have them like take this test to get to know themselves, and then I also like have them look back at like what are your past successes and like even what are your like past failures and like how did those make you feel and how have they like shaped who you are today and how you respond to different things. I feel like there's like so much insight that you can gain just from like how you've moved through your life thus far. Yeah.
And I think a lot of us think of a brand so visually, like we think of like Chanel and we picture the logo or we picture like the bag, but there are so many other like senses and things that go into a brand. So you're saying like you maybe don't have a logo, or someone may not have a logo, but still be really successful. So what are some of those areas? I mean, I feel like you can like hear a brand.
Right.
You can like feel it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So like Chanel is a really great example. Like let's say that you are like when you're looking back at yourself and you think about yourself, maybe you're like more of a like luxurious, like maybe like more conservative and like put together type of person. Looking at brands like Chanel or Gucci or some of these like high fashion brands, even looking like going as far as looking like, I always tell people to look at like car companies or like, so like Audi is a really great example of like luxurious, like very clean, like, and so then when you start to look at their things, you can notice that, okay, most of their color palette is like really pulled back, like a lot of just blacks and whites, very sleek and clean. Their messaging is always very like makes you feel luxurious. So you can really gain a lot of information by looking at how other like very famous brands make you feel. It's like Target is like very like happy, like makes you feel like they're gonna have everything that you need.
Cool.
They're like so fun and bouncy and they live that in their brand and their messaging, and like you feel a certain way when you think about Target.
So one of the questions I ask in the Branding Week in my coaching program is like, who are some celebrities that really embody your brand? And I think that's cool because then you kind of personify your brand. You give them like not only a visual persona but also like a personality. So I always say mine is like Kristen Bell because she's just like
that's
fun
that's
like,
definitely your brand.
Authentic, and I try like really casual, and I try to be that in my brand. Abbie's been judging my brand before this.
And she absolutely does live that out. Like Lainey's brand is a wonderful example of her personality and showcasing that. Like she is very like open book, very authentic, like very fun. Like the way she comes across online, like is actually how she is as a human. And it's really nice because like her brand also is like very open and airy and like light, bright colors that like make you feel this like sort of like happiness when you're looking at them. And like yellow is her color, and like she like lives that out through everything. It's just like a sunny and bright personality. And like those are all different ways that like Lainey has curated this very like cohesive brand and carries that through all of her messaging.
And like some of that was intentional. I mean, more so now, but of course at the beginning a lot of that's not intentional. So do you have any tips for bringing it into like my creative process of work, and not me specifically, but all of us watching, how we can bring it through like past the website, past the Instagram, past the logo, into the actual like working conversation and process.
So when clients are interacting with you, like when they're making decisions to buy from certain people, honestly, like you can get a lot of the products at a lot of different places. Like why is someone going to want to interact with your brand versus every other brand? And it's because you've made them feel a certain way, like really honing in this message. And that is like through the tiniest details, and like thinking about your Instagram, like what does your Instagram bio say? Like if you are a very like upbeat and personable type of brand, like maybe your bio needs to have like, hey, thanks for being here, like something very friendly, and like maybe your like call to actions say something like get on my list, and like or maybe you're more like put together and it's like join our email list or like subscribe today, which are all like both viable solutions. They say the same thing, but they're said in two different ways. So you like start to feel a different way. And it also is like in your client communications, like how you're writing your emails. So this is huge because I think a lot of people, like email is very easy to be very conversational. I always tell my younger sister is like all about being like very professional, but in her real life, she's like very bubbly and very bright and loud. And so then she goes to like write these professional emails and she gets very stressed and overwhelmed with them. Like, very worried about like what's the right thing to say. And I'm like, just share your personality. Like think about how you would have that conversation one-on-one with someone and carry that into your client communications, your emails. Your email sign off can be like catch you later versus like sincerely. Like those are two completely different ways to say goodbye, and they're both like equally valid, but they start to shape your brand in different ways.
And I think some of those things that feel easier to you are also going to be more successful because for the same reason which is that they're authentic. And so instead of trying to be something that you're not or that your brand is not, then do what feels easy and feels right, and that's gonna be, you're gonna be better at that anyway.
Exactly. That is like all like absolutely what I'm about. I've worked in advertising agencies with like large scale clients, and it's wonderful to like help shape a brand that way, but I'm so passionate about looking at like solopreneurs or like small teams of entrepreneurs and really looking at like, okay, who are you? Because you have to love your business every day, and it has to feel comfortable. It's like infuse who you are into it.
I love that. And if there's things about me that I don't necessarily want to include in my business, so like I'm really messy and clumsy, as we've experienced this weekend, but I don't want my clients to think like I'm going to be messy and clumsy with their invitations. So if there are things that we want to kind of like hide, do you think that's okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely in an online space, like it is all about boundaries. Like, you have to to like make your like decision points of what you're going to share versus what you're not going to share. But yeah, you can definitely like think about that. Like this whole thing goes into like really taking a look at who you are.
Right.
Think about like highlight, again, those are like questions that I actually do ask my clients is like, what are some of your weaknesses?
Yeah.
Like think about those. Okay, then like how can we turn them into positives? So like maybe you're very clumsy. Like, okay, that makes you like very relatable. And, like, turn it into like sort of like a cutesy quirk where it's not like, oh my God, I'm gonna like, you can't trust me to like handle your invitations. Like, no, like I'm just like bubbly in personality and I'm having so much fun that like sometimes I get like my feet get ahead of myself, you know? Like there's little ways
and like
that you can,
maybe I'll drop something, but I know how to fix it.
Right. Well, and that is very much paired with like, it is about you, but it's also a business.
Yes.
So like you do have to keep your keep that in mind. So like think about everything about yourself and then sort of like tailor it to who you want your clients to be. And that's like a whole other part is like your clients are not you, but you are generally going to attract clients that are attracted to your energy and your vibe. And the more that you lean into even those weaknesses and like necessarily the things that you don't want your clients to see, if you can think about those and reframe them in a way that make you more relatable, you're going to attract more people like that. And you'll just feel more comfortable in all aspects of who you are and as a business owner.
Okay, and so when I started, I mentioned I kind of made all of this up, and I think a lot of people who are just starting out maybe don't have the ability, I mean, maybe they don't have the money, but also just don't know their brand well enough yet because we haven't, you haven't sold a lot. Like your business can evolve over time, so you have this view of what you want it to be, but you're not totally sure if it's going to get there, and so you're not ready to like fully hire a branding designer yet.
Right.
What are some things that you think are really important, or some steps that we can take on our own to still have a very cohesive voice?
Yeah. So the first thing is I would definitely, like I said, like think about who you are, like think about your past strengths, your past weaknesses, like think about your client journey and like the way that clients interact with you. Start thinking of all of those touch points and then think about how you can infuse a little bit of your personality into those touch points. Look at colors, like we talked about how Lainey loves yellow earlier. Like yellow is a very sunny and like peppy color. Like what are some ways that you can use color? What are ways that the colors make you feel? And how can you choose those colors when thinking about your brand?
There's so much psychology behind it.
Oh my gosh, so much. Yeah, but also like don't let yourself get too like if you Google like color psychology, you're gonna see that like this color means this and this color means this, and that's generally true. But I also always like to tell people like Google the color green. Scroll through all these color greens, like how do you feel as you're like really look internally and think like how is this color making me feel? Like red always makes me feel like this sense of urgency.
Yes.
So like if that
McDonald's.
Exactly. It's like fast food. Yes. So like think about color in terms of like how it makes you feel. And then also like if you're not quite ready to hire a professional to like help you nail these things down, some like very easy tactical tips that you can use are like get your colors on point. Only have like a small selection of colors. Like 1 to 4 is great. And then also like your typefaces. So like choose 1 or 2 fonts that you're using and only use those fonts. So like in all of your marketing materials, in like your emails, like don't go changing up your font every single week because that's going to be incredibly confusing to people that are interacting with your brand. It's like, oh, this week she's like very like broad scripty strokes that like feel more whimsical, but then like last week she was this like very tight like more calligraphy style font. Like that's confusing. Like who is this girl? Which direction is she? So just stick with something, find something, stick with it and live with it for a while. Like don't jump around all over the place. It can always change and it should, like as you evolve, your brand should evolve, but don't change it every week. Like stick with it for a while and really hone in on that look and feel and keep it consistent through everything. And that's really like the key.
Yeah. And I feel like the only place that I have expertise on this is like Instagram. And so it's funny how everything you're saying is like the same stuff I say as far as like your feed on Instagram.
Yeah.
So the point of all of this is that you want people to see something and think of you.
Exactly.
That's like the most successful, like that's the answer of whether you have a successful brand or not. And that's like when someone like emails me a picture of a yellow dress and it's like, I thought of you.
Yes.
That's amazing. Or when someone, Alex got me one of those silicone rings when we got engaged and it was marble and everyone was like, oh, that's so on brand for you. And process. So what what you're saying is like stick to it. Make it something that people can recognize you for, whether it's just the color or the type of styling or the type of font. Just make it something that like people recognize you when they see your email. They don't need to read it.
Right.
When they see your product, they don't need to like really even see what it is. They just get that overall feel like you immediately spark in their brain.
Yeah, those are really, really great tips. I also have people like that will tell me, oh, I went to a store the other day that is just so you would love it. Yeah. Like I have like all of these pink books. Like I collect pink books. Like dusty pink is like a color that people have like started to know me for. And it's really fun when you also can think of it in terms of like your personal brand, right? Like and people start to recognize you for that, and it makes them feel good to know a little bit of who you are because it feels like you're building connections, and that's what's going to help people want to continue to shop with you and work with you and all these things.
Yeah, and you can, Coke is like always lauded as like one of the most successful brands in the world, and like you can see a Coke ad that doesn't even say Coke on it anywhere,
and you would
just know, or you like come to look forward to their like Christmas ads because they're always like so cute with the little polar bears.
That's really
so obviously we're not going to be Coke next.
I don't want to be Coke.
You're not going to be
but that's totally true.
But just like getting people to like visualize and represent you is just such a cool feeling because that just started happening for me. I'm not a branding expert, so that just started happening and it feels good. It
feels like people know you and everyone wants to be known and everyone like wants to be like recognized for who they are at their core, and like branding can have such a powerful impact on that, especially as entrepreneurs, like working for yourself, like really being like feeling really good in who you are helps build the confidence in your brand. And like sometimes, like let's be real, like we need that boost of confidence. Sometimes it's hard, but we do. Totally.
Okay, so Abbie, tell people how they can find you, work with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on Instagram as Paragraph Branding. My full company name is Paragraph Branding House. You can find me online at paragraphbranding.house. All about telling stories and weaving you into your work. That's where the name comes from.
As an English major, big fan of that.
Oh my gosh, I was originally going to be an English major. Yeah, that was like originally the plan. Like that's definitely all that my name is all about. So I'm online. I talk a lot about weaving who you are into your work. I talk a lot about values. I do have like a value finding worksheet that asks some of these questions that we just talked about. Like
link that below.
We can, and like a little bit about it goes through like some of the steps in my client process. You can like actually like have some of these questions for you, like right
be part of Abbie's clientele.
Yeah, I include like a ton of values that you can look through to like get your like thought starters on like figuring out who you are.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really fun.
That's so fun. And once you have those words, like use them all the time. Think of synonyms for them. Think of ways that you can infuse them into the stories that you tell every day. So
absolutely,
I really love that. Thank you for coming on.
Yes, thank you so much. This is so fun.
I just wanted to call it a show.
It's like a fancy show.
Thanks for coming on my channel. I love this. So everyone, let us know what you thought of this video by commenting below. Share with your friends who might find it helpful, and of course, subscribe and click the little bell so that you get notified of all of our future videos. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Abbie.
Bye.
Bye.